Hi everybody. In today's video we're going to go through the LibGSM code generator. This is going to be the getting started, so how to use the LibGSM code generator, what all the sections mean, and how they can be used to set up your project. We're going to start with the beginning top bar here, the project bar. The project bar can be used to start new projects, open existing projects, to save your current project, or save as, which effectively will make a copy of the current project that you have in a different location. So to start a new project, you can click on New Project and go to the directory that you would like to save your project. So for this example, I've made LibGSM demo videos, and you can make a new file depending on what you would like to call it. So I'm going to, for example, just call this getting started. Once you select this folder, you can from this point then see the directory that you will be saving all your settings in, and everything that you will do will then be saved into this directory. So right now you've saved, you can see a new project, nothing is selected here, and you can then at any point come back to this. So if you save this project and close the project, then at any stage if you would like to come back to it but pick up where you left off, you can then reopen that project. So if you reopen the code generator, go to the directory that you saved it, getting started, and if you select this folder, there's a file in there with all of your settings saved. So you'll see directories back and all of your modules are unselected again as you left off. From this point then you can, as I said, save. So if you'd like to select different modules and save those settings, you can save, so next time you can come back with the modules that were selected. You can also do the same with any settings that are found in these modules. I will go into a bit more detail with settings a little later in this video, but at this point it's just important to know that saving will then cause any settings that you change in your sizes of buffers or any other settings to be saved as well. Alright, save as then will effectively make a duplicate of this project at a new folder location. So if you'd like to make a copy of a project but you don't want to change the original project, you can just come here and start a new folder, a new project, and then save into that. So for example, let's say getting started version 2. From there we can select that folder. Project settings will then save into version 2. Alright, from there I already slightly touched on it, but this is the library modules window. So the library modules window is all the modules that are offered in LibGSM. So in the library, these are all the modules that are currently available. This is a project that is ongoing in development. So with newer versions of the LibGSM generator in the future, if you're watching this video, there may be more modules at that point than what they currently are, but at this point, these are the modules. So as is stated here, it says that if the module is blue, that means it is licensed. So for example, if you do not have a license yet, or you've only purchased certain modules, your screen would look something like this. So stating no license, whereas the other one stated the license details. I will get into that in detail as well. It'll then highlight in blue. So the fact that these are blue is because these are part of the SMS receive module. So the SMS receive module is free. This allows you to trial LibGSM, allows you to trial the library, and allows you just to test the interface and see if this is something that you like, something that you can use, and go from that point on. As I stated then, these modules that are also included are part of the dependent modules. So what I mean by that, if we use these buttons at the bottom to select none of the modules, then you can choose, for example, if you wanted to do SMS receive, you can say check module dependencies. This will then check any module that is required to use the SMS receive module. So for example, if we selected none and we wanted to do MQTT, you can then say check module dependencies and it will select the modules required. It's important to note, however, if this is not blue, you will not be able to generate the code if you do not own the license. So if this module is not in blue, that means that you will get an error when you try and generate this code later on. I will also get to that. All right, going back to the module that contains the licenses. As I've touched on, this can be a select all, select none, select license. So that just allows you, if you want to use a project with every single module, just a bit of a shortcut that you can use. And then as stated as well, you can also do check module dependencies, and then it will highlight. So certain modules will notify you that there are, for example, in this case, different options with the internet connection module. So when using HTTP, internet connection is required, internet connection module. So it'll say no internet connection module was selected. By default, internet connection SIMCON LTE has been selected. Please check and update depending on your requirements. So if that is not the file that not the module that you want to be using, you can unselect it and change it to the 2G instead. All right, from there, we will then move on over to the module info window, and you'll see that there are secondary and sometimes tertiary tabs that will give you information. So every single one of these modules will have a module info tab, and that just gives you any information required to use the module. So it'll tell you any of the module dependencies. It's a small summary of what it does. So the SMS send module can be used to send text messages. It'll give you a brief introduction of how to initialize the module, but also state that this code is auto-generated while using the LibGSM code generator, but it is provided here so that users can see how to do this if they want to use the library, but not necessarily generate the code through the LibGSM code generator. So it'll give you all of your initialization, polling functions, and more information on that. You're free to go through all of this, even if you own the module or not, to go through all of this documentation. Other than that, you'll see a settings tab here. I'm not going to go through all of the settings in detail in this video. It'll unfortunately take too long for this introduction video to go through all of the settings and what they mean, but you'll see certain tabs will have settings with regards to buffer sizes, if there's any sort of setting that can be changed with regards to powering on and powering off the module. I will go into detail as to what these settings are in separate videos, so just look out on the channel for any other videos that you want, and then I will break down the settings and what they do for each of those modules. You'll also see some of the modules have an example projects tab. The example projects tab will be available for any module that requires a user interface. So if you can interact with this module, there will be an example project to show you how to set that up. So for example, that will be the PIN module, the RSSI, SMS send and receive, USSD, HTTP, and MQTT. So one example that don't include example projects are the internet connection. So you don't need to do anything with the internet connection module. That will run on its own when it's included in the project if you have HTTP or MQTT. All right, so example project effectively will just allow you to download an example to set up that project. So if you'd like to use MQTT or the PIN module or RSSI, whichever module it is, you can download the example and see how to quickly get started. So it'll give you step-by-step guide to say step 1 you need to do this, step 2 do that, and then you can run your project and go from there. I'll also be making separate videos for all of the example projects as well, so you can look out for that on the YouTube channel. We will show you how to use the example, download the example, open it, run it, and how you can interface and see what feedback you get from the module. You're also more than welcome to go through and see which modules have examples or not. You can see all of the settings, whether you own the library or not, or own the license for that module or not. Right, from there, you can see that there is a C and C++ option. So that just allows you to generate the project in the format that you would like. So if you're working on a C project, you can generate the code in a C format, or if you're working with a C++ format, you can then generate C++ files instead. This option will appear, so if you toggle between C and C++, you'll see that this Arduino project pops up here. This Arduino project, all it does is just places all the library files in a source folder. So Arduino likes any external folders to be in, or files to be in a source folder. So that's all that this does, is it just puts the library files neatly in that source folder for you so that you do not have to do that manually. Unticking this, if you have an Arduino project, you'll just have to move them yourself to the source folder. And if you have a normal C++ project, you can keep it ticked as well. It's not going to change the functionality of the library in any way. Other than that, we have the generate code button left. So if I choose MQTT, I want all of the dependent modules and I want to put it in my getting started version 2, code generated successfully. So now if we go over to our folder that we saved it into, getting started version 2, you'll see there is the source folder that we saved our Arduino project into. This will then have your LibGSM library with all of the files that were generated for your specific modules that were selected. From there, you'll also see the settings file. This is what saves all the settings, the license that we encourage that you read through, and then there's circular buffers, that files that are also generated just to help with the setup. So you do not need to use these, but they will help you speed up development. And then I will go into these GSM manager files, but these are effectively the main files that are generated that you interface with to set up your entire project. All of this will be touched on in the example projects, so if you'd like to get more detail as to how to use those files and how to update them for your specific use, then please watch the next videos for the examples and you'll see how to use that. I already touched on this lightly when showing that which modules were highlighted blue and not, but your license will be stipulated at the bottom of the screen here. So this will be a license number, who you are, the company you work for, your email address, if you purchased support, the date that it will be expiring, and then your license status. So if your license has passed the check, then this will say passed. If not, it will change depending on what your current status is for your license. All right, so that's everything for this video. As I said, there will be more videos that you can check out regarding the examples and setting up those modules. So please give those a watch, and yeah, I hope that you guys find the LibGSM library very useful for your projects. Thanks very much.